Hey guys, welcome back. We are currently in Palmerston North and we are on our way to somewhere that was recommended to me most recently by a good friend of mine, and he mentioned that we have a really top-end quality bakery in Palmerston North. Now I must say, Palmerston North gets a bit of a bad rep, you know, maybe being a little bit of a boring town sometimes. Yeah, kind of at the butt of a joke, but I've got to say this place is fantastic for great food. There are some really great restaurants in the city and lots of different varieties. Japanese restaurants, great Vietnamese, there's loads of places to explore, so I do highly recommend, if you are in New Zealand, definitely stop at Palmerston North. But today we are going to be going to a bakery and to check out some of the local pies. So I just walked past there. There was a bit of a queue, so we're hoping it's not going to be as crazy today or when we get back. So we're hoping it's not going to be that crazy when we head back over there, but there was a beautiful smell emanating from the bakery. It looks great. Let's head over there now and grab something to eat. Hey, how you going? Yeah, good, thanks.
Something sweet today, maybe?
Definitely gonna grab a pie.
Yeah.
Just having a look at what you got. It's first time here, so I'm just...
Welcome. I will, you know, this kit here is all about fresh cream.
Okay.
We've got hot cream all on the side here, however there is a fresh custard cream in the creme brulee.
Awesome. I think I'll start with the pretzel.
Of course.
So what's the kind of specialty pie?
Classic would be a steak and cheese.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, if you like a bit of spice, go for our cheesy jalapeno
Yeah,
one.
we've got to do that. There's one left of those as well, so we've got to try that, I think.
Meant to be.
I think we'll do a sausage roll as well. Yeah. Alrighty guys, so we have just got back from Knead Bakery in Palmerston North. What a day it is here in Palmerston North. It was such a rubbish day for the last couple of days. Driving here from Rotorua was a bit of a nightmare, but we got through it. There was a lot of driving rain, but not to worry, we did arrive in one piece. So when we got there was no queue, walked straight in, had a beautiful reception from the young lady who works there. It was just super nice, super inviting. She treated me like a really quality customer. I told her it was my first time, and yeah, she took me through everything and made me feel at home. So top marks there for customer service and commitment to yeah, offering a really good, memorable experience. So we've got a few different items that we went with today. We went with a pretzel because they were sitting on top of the cabinet and just looked so good. We went with a specialty pie, so they had one left of the beef and jalapeno and cheese pie that we just had to try. And then I also went with a sausage roll today because they just look so good at the bottom. I could not resist. So guys, there is nothing left to do except to get the tray out of the oven and have a look, shall we? Alrighty guys, look at this beige colored feast that we have in front of us. This looks so good. It smells amazing. Over here we have their pretzel showered in shards of sea salt. It feels nice and soft. It's got a nice quality crust to it. Cannot wait to get tucked into that. Next up, we have this beautiful looking sausage roll. Look at the crusty flakiness of that. It is beautifully towering up. It feels really yum. I just could not resist getting this guy from the cabinet. Over here we have an interesting looking pie. This is their jalapeno cheese and beef pie. We've been having a little bit of a look already at the temperature. Internally, it's 73 degrees. Interestingly, I was chatting with a friend of mine last night whose wife works at the supermarkets, and she was saying, you know, really food should be served from the hot food cabinets at least sort of 70 to 75 degrees. So that was really useful to know, because it gives us a bit of a barometer for where from a food safety perspective the temperature should be. But as you know, if you've watched the previous pie review videos, tends to be the tastiest temperature is around that sort of 60 to 65, but it's really useful information to know. All right guys, we are ready to get stuck in. First up, I think we're gonna go with this pretzel. Okay, it's got that classic sort of pretzely, bready maltiness almost to it. It's kind of got that lye smell, so it's suggests that it's being made authentically. Sometimes you get them and it's just like any other bread. The bread inside smells amazing. Let's give this a go. That is sensational, guys. Soft, chewy. Sometimes you get a pretzel and it's hard, difficult to process. That is incredibly smooth to eat. It's not arduous to eat. It's soft, fluffy inside, with that perfectly baked crust, and that, of course, classic hit from the sea salt, giving a really flash over the top saltiness to the experience. Now I'm looking at the bottom of this and it looks like they've got some what maybe look like, it's hard to tell, but there's certain seeds on there, maybe got some sesame on there. There's maybe another kind of sunflower seed. It's hard to tell what the other seed. There's a couple of types though, but they are adding a really yummy dimension of flavor. I'm going to take a bite out of this rather large end.
Oh yeah.
From a baking perspective, that is excellent. There's a really good consistent bake all the way through that, even though it's completely different in terms of size from this part to this part, but they've managed to get a really good cook all the way through that whilst not burning the smaller areas of the pretzel. So really, really good. If you don't like plain sort of bread taste, if you don't like plain tasting things, then you probably won't like the pretzel. But for me, the simplicity of the pretzel is what makes it beautiful, and that's why I really love that experience today. All right, let's move on to this puppy. This is a extremely flaky sausage roll. It is holding together really well, though. It's a puff pastry. It's got a really rich smelling sausage element to it. Now, as I've said before, with sausage rolls, very common for people to have tomato ketchup with the sausage roll. But for me, a really good sausage roll shouldn't need ketchup at all. The beef mix in this is beautifully seasoned. There's not a huge amount of herbal notes coming through from this mix, but it's really well cooked. It's beautifully moist. There's definitely a bit of onion in there. There's probably some carrot cut through there as well. Well seasoned. Wow, guys, this is really good. The pastry itself is very flaky, but it's holding the meat really well. It's not falling apart all over myself. A little bit of a greasy base to it, I will say. And for a lot of people that don't love that, or don't mind that, for me it maybe coats the mouth a little bit too much in oil for me. But guys, that pastry is melting away, beautifully cooked, and that meat content inside is really excellent. Sometimes when people recommend me places to go, I'm a little bit nervous that it might not end up being that great, but in this case, we're looking good so far. Let's take a look at this pie. The bottom, definitely on the darker side. In terms of its weight, it's probably average, I would say. It's not, it doesn't feel like it's been packed to the brim. We'll find out shortly. The actual consistency and integrity of that pastry holding the pie in, though, is excellent. There is no feeling that this is going to start spilling out. It's been well made. You can tell that there's love in this thing already. Cheers, everyone. We'll bite a little bit off. There's a lot of pastry going on there. It's definitely a big bitey pastry. And there's no doubt that's the reason why a lot of that heat is being kept in. Oh, there is loads of jalapenos in here. You can just tell from the smell as soon as you penetrate that outer layer. Okay, so the jalapeno is definitely the dominant flavor I'm getting from this beef. The beef itself is kind of that classic, very mealy, very small beef mince, so it's quite fine, sort of dissipates quite quickly. It's an interesting gravy. It doesn't have a huge amount of kind of meaty flavors. It's seasoned well. There's quite a lot of pepper coming through on the meat. The gravy itself, it doesn't blow me away, if I'm being honest, but the cheese is really good. The integrity of the pie is good. But yeah, I feel like the beef consistency is a little bit too fine. There really isn't much mouthfeel coming from it at all. It dissipates quite quickly. The gravy washes away. The dominant flavor in this is definitely the jalapeno. The cheese is a good choice. It's not too strong, but it is present. You can definitely taste it. I've just had a little bit of my pie fall onto my pretzel. Let's have a go at that. That's good. They should make a pretzel pie. The pie is actually perfect temperature, so the beef is coming through really well. I can eat that straight away, no problem. There is a lot of pastry, I would say, and maybe for me it's just a tad too much, but their baking skills are excellent. They do a really good job at creating a good cook all the way through. All right, guys, so we just finished up our food from Knead Bakery in Palmerston North. Yep, so overall, really positive. I think the big stars of the show for me were the pretzel. Pretzel was really yum, well cooked, kind of traditional style pretzel. I hope they're using all the kind of traditional elements of making pretzel, which I'm sure they are with the lye and all the rest of it. It's got a beautiful crust. The interior is fluffy, it's soft, it's got a chew to it, but it's not doughy at all. And then well seasoned with the sea salt as well. So that was a big star of the show for me. The sausage roll was also really yum. The meat inside was beautiful, really moist, had a really good element of seasoning to it, and just felt like really good quality. Was really flaky, lovely, just a really high quality sausage roll overall. Would definitely come back for the sausage roll. Maybe a little bit greasy on the undercarriage, but really very small. Something that I personally just would like to have a little bit drier, a little bit crispier. Yep, those two were really good. The pie for me was maybe not as great as the other two items. I felt like the jalapeno flavor was really yum. I love the combination of jalapeno. The cheese was really high quality as well, and look, the pastry was good as well. And then the beef itself that they've used, it's kind of that sort of very fine mealy style of beef. And look, I think it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad quality beef at all, but just from a texture point of view, it really just kind of melts away. There's really no bite to it. And then the gravy itself was just maybe a little bit just lacking sort of further dimensions of flavor in there. It was well seasoned, it had good consistency, it wasn't as if it was a bad gravy by any stretch of the imagination for me. Yeah, just those small points. So guys, look, with that in mind, look, Knead Bakery, I've got to say as well, those guys in there are so lovely, and look, don't get me wrong, they do a great pie. So if you're watching this, Knead Bakery, you guys are doing a great job in there. And with that in mind, guys, I will be giving Knead Bakery today a go out and get it now. It was a great experience, and if you are in Palmerston North, definitely recommend stopping by this spot for your lunch. All right guys, so look, for me it is a stop on the road to Wellington. I am heading down there this weekend. As mentioned before, if you've watched the previous video, we are on our way to the New Zealand Barista Competition Finals. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to give you a little bit of footage from that as well, give you a bit of an insight to what the Barista Comps is all about. Cool guys, so that's going to do it for me. We will see you guys very shortly in Wellington. We'll see you then.